Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Organizing the Entrepreneur. As always, I'm your host, Janelle Azar, and I'm so grateful you're here. Today's episode, it's such a good one. I'm sitting down with one of my dear friends, Hollie Gyarmati, the founder of HG Makeovers. This is where she uses her gift for interior design to help people make the most of their space, simplify their everyday lives, and feel happy in their homes. Hollie's also an author, a licensed real estate agent, a mom of 5, and she's about to launch her own podcast, which I cannot wait for you to hear more about. But what I love most about this conversation is how real and refreshing it is. Hollie shares what it's looked like to break free from the quote unquote shoulds, those expectations around motherhood, business, and even what it means to be successful, and instead build a life and career on her terms. You'll hear about the winding road she's walked, how she stayed true to herself along the way, and why designing a business that fits your life and not the other way around isn't just possible, it's powerful. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful you're here. And if you love this episode, I would be so honored if you leave a rating or a review, or come over and say hi on Instagram. I'm at a meaningful space. That's me. Or you can find Hollie at HG Makeovers. We would love to hear your thoughts and connect with you on there as well. So let's go diving in with Hollie Gyarmati. I have wanted to have you on the podcast for a little while now, and I'm so glad that you are finally here. And you and I met, it's been a couple of years, right?
I think it was 2022.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe 20, I think it was 2022.
So
I
a
was
couple of
doing my
years.
speaking. I was speaking, making my rounds speaking with MREM, and that was where I met you.
Yes. And for those people who don't know what MREM is, it's Michigan Real Estate Masterminds.
Yeah.
We're both like, oh, I think that's right. And you were speaking and you were talking about interior design. And I wanted to come specifically to that presentation, to that event, because not only was it literally a half a mile from my house, I was like, oh my gosh, here is a person that I feel like I can really relate to.
Right?
And it was like we instantly clicked. We just hit it off. It was so good to have like a kindred spirit, because after you presented, there were a couple of real estate agents that were like, what do you do? And then they were like trying to understand how it was different from what you do, and they just could not figure it out. I was like, thank God Hollie gets it.
When I met you, I was just kind of like to everyone else, okay, bye. Have a nice day. I have my person. This is all I need.
We just instantly clicked. It was so great. And I remember getting those questions about like, what is it exactly that you do? And just people couldn't really grasp the whole process. And we've stayed in touch ever since. And it has been such a lovely friendship. And I'm always so grateful that we've connected.
I agree. Yes.
I would love for you to share a little bit about, since I mentioned interior design, you do a lot of different things, but I would love for you to just kind of share a little bit about what it is that you do and who you are in your business.
In a nutshell, to a stranger, I would tell you that I make lives better by design, or so many things, more simple by design, beautiful by design. I'm an interior designer at my core. I've been a designer my entire life. So professionally, that's what I've done for 25 years, but I've really kind of curated my business to not compete with luxury interior designers, but to help everyday people feel better in their space. I'm a nerd about simple lifestyle, and if I could make a living just teaching people how to simplify their life, that would be what I would do. But circumstantially, I am an interior designer, and that is how I make my living, and I love what I do.
I honestly feel like that's why we get along so well, is because you're all about simplifying
Yeah.
things. And that is just,
Yeah.
that
Like we could be
speaks to me.
partners any day of the week. We could be partners because I think not even that what you do is so what you do is really nothing like what I do as a designer.
Yeah.
However, my core values of who I am is so in tune with what you do and about that craving, how you help people take chaos and make it feel calm and make them feel great in their space. And personally, that's what I've had to do in my personal life. And so that's why I'm so passionate about what you do.
And I love that you brought up your personal life. And this is just, it's so, I want to find the right word for this. It's surreal, I guess, because you didn't mention the fact that you're an author, but I'm going to throw that out there. I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. And I just finished reading your book a couple of weeks ago, which
You.
it's all about your life and about a certain part of your life and up to a certain point. And that part of your life occurred before I met you, before I knew you. So it's really just very surreal to know you now, who you are now, where you are in your life and your business, and to be like, oh my gosh, but I'm thinking about all these things that I just read.
Okay, I just have to ask you. I have to ask you. When you
Yeah.
told me, I was shocked when you told me you were reading my book because in my mind, when I give someone a book, I'm like, they're gonna take it home and read it today. No. So I was like, oh, I'm like, oh my gosh, she didn't read my book. And so do you feel like you know me differently now that you've read the book?
I
Because
do.
you knew me pretty well.
It's interesting. It's really like opening a chapter of your life because your core values have not changed. Like there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of things that are very you throughout the entire book, but there's a lot of things that are different and changing, a different period of your life. And I'm just so fascinated by that. And I think that's just very interesting. And yes, I feel like I know you in a very different way. So, like, let's break it down. You're a mom. You've got 5 kids, you've got a business, you wrote a book. Like, how do you keep that all together? What does it even mean in your world? Because you love the simplified life. How do you simplify that?
You don't. I mean, I desperately want to, but at the end of the day, there's nothing simple about my life. But somehow I feel like I'm able to wake up every morning, and even though there's so much on my plate and I have so many different things coming at me, I still feel like I have a really great life and I don't feel I'm happy and calm and I sleep well.
Mm.
So so like it's taken me years to get to this point, but yeah, it I think you have to keep perspective
Mm.
and gratitude and keep perspective of what's really important every day so you don't get wrapped up in what society tells us is normal.
Do you feel like you have kind of turned what people expect or like think is the norm? Do you feel like you've turned that on its head a little bit by kind of redefining what you want your life to look like?
Yeah, to for me, yeah.
Yeah.
The outside world, I don't think anyone has a clue as to, even though I wrote a book, but they don't have an idea of what I do every day or what my life is like every day, or even like the type of life that my kids have led and lead compared to other kids their age in the social setting with which we live. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels pretty good
That's
because
awesome.
we're all good.
So the chaos that you experience being a mom of 5 kids that are literally right in a row, right? Because tell us about your
But,
kids a little bit.
but first, before like people are thinking she's way too old to be changing diapers. Um, so so I have 2 sets of twins, one in between. I had them all in less than 4 years. My they're not kids anymore. My oldest set of twins, Noah and Emma, are finishing up their second year of college. I've got a freshman in college who's a year younger, my daughter Isabel, and then Natalie and Kate, my babies, are twins who are finishing up their sophomore year of high school. So my babies are taking driver's training classes right now as we speak. And so I'm through like when what a lot of women would define as you have 5 kids. I think of that era of me as being babies up to like 16 years old, right? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
past I'm in a different phase of life,
Yeah.
but I'm still a mom of five kids and I'm always there the second one of them needs me
Yes.
in many different
Yes.
ways. So
Absolutely. That never goes away. You're always going to be a mom.
my mom is here as well right now, staying the night tonight. So she's in the kitchen and she's being the mom, right? Like it's so funny. Yes.
I love that. And that's something else that I feel like I really I knew, but I got an even better perspective on from reading the book is, how close you are with your family, with your parents, and what an important role they play in your life. So family is very important to you.
Yeah, very much.
We also didn't talk about the fact that you just did something new. You added another layer to what you do.
I did. It's a slow go, my sister. I added real estate to
Yeah.
my menu, and it has been I think the industry right now is a little tough. I very much want to be helping clients buy, sell homes. I mean, my heart is there. It's really challenging. I do design full time and I'm busy full time. As you know, it's hard to add something because you have to carve out the extra time to make it happen.
Mm.
And it's really challenging. So it's happening. It's a slow go. And that's okay. And that is part of who I am, is accepting that I'm not like the other people, and that's okay.
I think that's an important lesson to learn. There's just so many lessons as an entrepreneur, I think, along the way that you kind of pick up and just kind of have to figure out for yourself. And I think it's interesting too, because I feel like almost every entrepreneur I speak with, there's another avenue that they travel, whatever that may be. For me, I'm not only a home organizer, I created a digital course, I'm doing this podcast. There are other things that make up what I do. So I think it's really interesting that, again, here we are, you have different avenues that you're going down. Do
Yeah.
you feel like there's always things that you want to explore, things that you want to try?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just going to tell you, I don't I don't want to be making a living doing interior design work for the rest of my life. So, as a woman, and I'm single and I'm head of my household, I have a lot of financial pressure to pay the bills. I don't have a backup person paying my bills for me. So I have to generate my income, but I also know that I don't want in 10 years I don't want this to be how I'm making a living. Not because I don't love it, but there are bigger, brighter things that I feel like I'm meant to be doing. And so there you have it. You have this is where I want to be in 10 years. Here is where I am now, and I have to do you have to take those steps to get from point A to point B, and allowing that to happen organically is kind of part of it, but you have to keep taking those steps because it's really easy to just stay where you are. It would be so easy for me to just not have the dream and then just allow my design business to consume me. And I know that if I did that, I wouldn't be happy. And when I'm 90-year-old Holly, I don't want to look back and just say, I did a whole lot of design consulting and I made a lot of beautiful homes. Like, I'm here for so much more than making spaces pretty, and that is important, but I have other things. So to do those other things, it requires you just have to keep this is like where I feel you and I always land with our conversations is like, okay, we have dreams and we're trying to do this, and it's like getting there is so challenging.
I could not agree with you. Like more than 100%, I agree with you. And a lot of it does come back to time, right? Managing time, organizing your time, finding time. Are there any pieces of advice that you have that have seemed to work for you, or things that you've tried that are like not so great when it comes to trying to delegate your time?
I am really good at delegating time for myself. Tried to hire a couple people to make my life easier with my work, and it didn't happen. It didn't pan out the way I wanted over the
Mm.
last year. So I have to be a one-man show to run my business the way I run it. And that is exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really good though at time management. Time management is not something that I struggle with. I've always been good at managing my time, and it was sink or swim when I had all those kids. So I knew that if I was going to have a life or be anything more than the person that cooks and cleans and changes diapers, that I had to have a plan. And every day I wake up with a plan for my day, for my week, for my days. And I'm big on you have to be a visionary about what the next day is going to look like. So,
Ooh, I like that. So, can you give me an example of like, a plan that either has passed that you're like, oh, I had this plan for yesterday and this is how it worked out? Or can you give me an example of a plan for something that's coming up and like, this is what I'm going to do?
well, for me, as far as time management, okay, I'm not a digital girl, and managing my time digitally is not something that my brain relates to. So I still am old school. I use printer paper, and every night before I go to bed, I sit and I write out what my day is going to look like. And it's kind of a visual walk through my day. It's like, I'm going to get up at this time, and here's my morning routine. I know my morning routine like the back of my hand, but I still write down. You're going to get up, you're going to stretch, you're going to make your coffee, you're going to do your Devo, you're going to do your journal, you're going to take the girls to school. I'm a nerdy. I like to cross those things off. However, it's like making your bed. Like they say, like the whole speech, what was
Yep.
it, Marine or someone in the military that gave the make
Yep.
your bed speech, that it's so true. It's just those little things when you're successful with something small, it just escalates and snowballs throughout the day. I really kind of plan out everything on a piece of paper right down to where I go to bed, but that doesn't mean I'm working. It just means I have blocks of time where I have nothing, but it's just space to just be or whatever it is I need to do. But I do. I plan every day. If I didn't, oh my gosh, my whole world would explode if I chose to not plan a weekday. If I take a day off, that's a different story.
So that helps you manage your time. And we're talking more so like for when we're thinking about including work with that type of thing. So like Monday through Friday, you're planning out every single day for the
Yeah.
most part to
Yes.
help you just really, like you said, have an idea, have a vision, have like an understanding of what's going to happen, what's going to occur so you
Hmm.
can move forward.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've had anybody say that to me in those exact terms yet, but it makes a lot of sense because I feel like for you and I think that's really important to really have a vision or an idea in our head of what things are going to look like so we can help propel ourselves to it.
Well, and I'm learning the older I get too, I think the more I understand what I need emotionally, how well my brain functions at certain times of the day, and when I work out better. And it's always changing, but that's kind of part of my planning is if I have one day where I'm booked with appointments, I know that the following day I need to give myself a lot of space and downtime to get outside and take walks and just spend some time without people because I love being with people, but I also really need to be alone. I really cherish my alone time, and something I just discovered, it's always changing because I'm always my role as mom of where I need to be at certain times is different all the time. And so that's kind of like a huge thing in my world. But I've discovered that my brain function, I don't know if it was turning 50 last month but in the last like year, I just don't, my brain, I don't work well after like 5 o'clock. I really don't. And I mean, what I do is not rocket science, but I can stay up late and maybe draw or do some floor plans, but I don't function business wise really well in the evening. And so I've allowed myself to not get caught up in workouts or house cleaning or things that I try to get my core work done early in the day when I know that my brain is working better.
I get
It's
it.
in tune, right?
Yes, I am really no good after, I'm even earlier, like 3 o'clock. I'm just
I
like,
know. What time do you wake up in the morning? What time?
I'm not, probably not even as early as you. I'm usually up by 6 at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
latest. Yeah, I just like I can answer emails or do a couple of different things here and there, but I am not going to be putting together client proposals. I really don't like organizing late in the evening because I'm just kind of drained and tired from the day. And I tell people, so, even sometimes when I have clients in the later afternoon, and sometimes it's the second client of the day, I'm like, I'm sorry, but my brain is really mushy right now. And it's true. I really do have a hard time functioning later in
Mhm.
the afternoon. It's just
Yeah.
part of who I am, and that's okay. I I really love that you've incorporated that into how you plan your day, and you know that about yourself.
I
Yeah.
try.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how do you feel organized at home? What does that look like for you?
I could flip this computer around in my closet and you'll see. No, I'm organized. I'm okay. My house feels pretty good everywhere, pretty much all the time. It'll get cluttered over the course of a couple weeks, but I nip it in the bud, right? So I'm a pretty organized person. When I wake up in the morning, if my girls, I have a big sectional in my living room, and if I wake up in the morning and someone was up late and the pillows are a mess and the blankets are a mess, I'm not doing any part of my morning routine until I fluff puff, get things straight. Like I have to have my core anchor space of my home feeling picked up and clean when I start my day.
Yeah.
Or else I'm not I feel like a total loser. I'm like I want it to feel good when I start. And
I
yeah.
get that. I literally, if I get out into the kitchen, because the first thing I like to do is make my coffee, have a cup of coffee. And if I get out there and there's shit in the sink, like dishes and cups and all kinds of craziness, I'm just like, oh my God, I get really irritated. And I'm like, I don't like feeling like that first thing in the morning. So part of my routine is I do try and take care of that in the evening. So it's all settled and put
Mhm.
away. But I get that. You want to start your day off on the right foot. Do you feel like there are some responsibilities that the kids help share in, maintaining your home?
I do it all. I do it all. And here's the deal. I'm going to be very honest, okay?
We love
Because
honesty. Put it
I,
out there.
a lot of this with me, I wasn't always this way. When my kids were little, we did all the things. We had the chore list. I would have routines. I had routines for everything, and everything had its place, and we could do an after dinner. Like I'd set a timer and say, "Okay, we're going to do a 5-minute pickup." Like they were pretty good. Then they got older. But what happened was when I got divorced, my kids were between the ages of 10 and 14. And that was really rough on all of us. And the mom guilt, because I was the one that filed for the divorce, it was not a mutual thing. And that is an important factor in my moving on because I felt like I knew I needed to make that change, and it changed a lot for my kids. And after that, I became a lot more lax on what my expectations of them were and still what are. And it's a reality of what I went through. If I needed something, my kids would step up and do anything for me, but I just don't ask because from a very young age, they've all had to step up in ways that they shouldn't have had to, in my opinion. Sharing, bouncing to two different homes sucked. And and we're still in it. Like we're almost out of it, but it's not easy. And I couldn't imagine being them. And I think that because of that, I just am really lax on my expectation. But they also, like me, they'll allow a space to get so bad and then they'll snap and then they'll clean it. So I just kind of know it will just take care of itself.
You know what? That's all that matters, right?
It's just like and one example, like right now I've got kids coming home from college. I have three in college and they're coming home and they come home and they bring another house basically back home. And it's just kind of all over the last week. My house has gotten really like my kitchen table, it's covered in stuff. We can't use it right now. I started getting a little weird. Like 5 days into it, I realized I'm like, okay, the visual clutter is impacting how I feel in my space. And so what I do is I pick like I have to control something. And so I decided I would focus on my office because that's the one space that no one else touches and no one else lives in. So I've been in my office a lot all week, organizing, rearranging furniture, and everyone's like, "Oh, your office looks so good." And I'm like, "Yeah, see, like take a hint because make all your stuff go away. It's making me nuts."
I can tell you what, everybody that has listened to the podcast always appreciates the honesty. So honesty goes a long way because that's real life.
Yeah, it is what it is.
100%.
It is
Yeah,
what it
yeah. But you know what? Good for you for taking something that you can control. And that's really setting the example. This is like what I really love. This is what I want to see. This is what makes me feel good. And hopefully, along the way, the kids will join in.
You're good. Yeah. And it's like the grass is green, like the sky is blue, whatever. It's like we're all healthy and we're all happy and
So let's talk about, is there an area in your life that you feel most organized, either personally or professionally? I know we talked about like time management you feel really good about, and you're pretty organized at home. Is there anything else that we didn't cover there?
um no, I think a lot of it is that I'm just really good at managing my life. My boyfriend a couple weeks ago said this about me and I'm like, that's so right on. He goes, "You're like a duck." He's like, "You glide across the water and you make it look effortless, but underneath the water, you are working so hard." And I just really appreciated hearing that because that's really the truth of it. I do work really hard.
That's a really interesting analogy because I do think that's true for maybe a lot of women too, that they make it look easy, but oh my gosh, it is not easy at all when it comes to, handling a business and handling being a mom and, all the other things that come in between with that. It's very challenging. And I think that's why part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast is because people really want that. They want the behind the scenes. They want to know, okay, you make it look effortless, but how are you doing it? How are you keeping yourself afloat?
Yeah. You know what really annoys me is, and this is like a real, like at my core, and I think because of the story and what you learned about me in the book and dealing with like, financial hardship and living in a really wealthy area and having to be like the poor person. I despise the social pressure put on everybody in this day and age, but I think especially like moms in the mom role of this is what's expected right from the moment of conception. You're suddenly registering for things and you have to have the shower and you have to spend money on all the stuff. It's like in the blink of an eye, you're spending money on things you don't need. You're feeling like you have to do things because society says you have to. And I think because a lot of it, I didn't have a choice and I had to figure out a way to raise a family on peanuts at times, where like that was where I really socially bucked against the grain. And I think I still do, is it's like I come at life with, you don't have to do that. Just because so and so does that doesn't mean that you have to do that. Or like we have the power to create and design our days in our whole life the way we want. And so I really try to tune out everything around me and just stay focused on me and my family, and because it's really easy to just lose time or get
Oh,
wrapped up in feeling like in comparing yourself to other people.
that
So
comparisonitis is
it's
troubling.
horrible. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
And I do think not just society, but also the social media side of it, it's just so easy to fall into that trap because everybody makes it look so effortless and easy on social media.
Right.
And that's definitely not the case. You're getting the very best of the best on social media. Is there anything else that you talked about simplifying? Is there anything in your life specifically that you feel like you would want to streamline or simplify? Or do you feel like you're there? You've really got things down?
I'm like 80% there. I'm pretty good. I'm really good at saying no to things. I'm really good at knowing what's important and how I want to spend my time. I am a hot mess. I was looking at the questions, the pre-podcast questions. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, if we should talk about that, it's terrible." I'm not a digital savvy person. From the time they rolled the giant Apple computer into my classroom when I was 9 years old in the third grade, anything computer related and I don't mix. And I'm not good with my computer skills. So anything that I've done over the years, I've had to teach myself, and I'm probably always about decade behind everyone else.
Just a decade.
Only a Like, here's the thing. Here's what happened too. Texting came out at a
Yeah.
certain point. I don't know, was it like year 2000 or 2001 or whatever? When texting came out, I was already married and I think I had like babies already, and I didn't even use my phone. I was so wrapped. And so by the time I had to send a text, it was okay. The first text I ever sent was in 2008.
Whoa.
Yeah. And and the reason I had to send it was because I was at a U of M football game. We're at the big house, and I was with my husband at the time, and I was pregnant with my second set of twins, and I was really, really sick. And he was down in the stadium, and I was stuck. Like I left the stadium. And the only way for me to reach him was to send a text. And I was like, oh crap, I have to figure out this texting thing. And I'm like punching, like tapping the ABCD till I get to I am not coming back. I think it was only like 3 years ago or 4 years ago that I made a New Year's resolution to teach myself how to text with two thumbs.
Oh my gosh. I love that about you. I think so
Well, like
so
you, like I love like seeing like you're doing your digital organizing, and I think that is so brilliant. And I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like I need to know.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of people our age that just are not there or just are not really interested. Seems unusual, but you know what? I know several people. I can definitely name off like five people right now that are just like, not for me.
Yeah.
Texting is good, but like if it comes to computers or learning a lot of stuff, it's a lot. It's a big effort. And to be honest, it is. There's oh my gosh. I mean, I know enough to get by, but my goodness, I like there's still so much out there. It's crazy. So thanks for sharing that. I think that's a very real part of who you are and it's okay. I think we all have a hot mess moment. There's all things we're not great at. What about self-care? Because I do feel like you really are in tune with yourself. You're very intuitive with who you are and what you want out of life. How did you get to that point? Are there certain things that you put first when it comes to taking care of you?
Hmm. I'm really good, but I'm also equally really bad. Like, I think a big part for me was that I was really good at self-care before I had kids. I think I just was a little spoiled because I didn't have to work and I had a lot of time. I had a good rhythm of what I needed to feel good. Then I had Noah and Emma, and very quickly I realized that I was in this sink or swim because I was very much doing it on my own and taking care of the two babies on my own. I didn't have a huge support system. and I didn't have hired help. And so I just remember one time when they were newborns saying to Tom, I'm like, I can get through any part of this chaos that this life throws at me, but I'm telling you right now, if you don't give me 1 hour of daylight alone, I'm going to die. I knew in that moment that I was requesting 60 minutes of alone time where I knew I needed to just have it to go work out or just for me time. Other than that, I try to make time for myself. In the last year, I've been walking outside as much as I possibly can. And self-care, I know it doesn't just mean like being fit or, but it's really hard. I have a hard time eating well because I'm a social stress eater, so I don't always make the best choices. And then you fill your house with a bunch of social and girls. Like, I am just that one where it's like, yeah, I want to have all the things. And maybe I'm not so great at self. But here's one thing. I sleep really good. So I feel like I'm getting a lot of fresh air these days. I'm trying my best to take care of my health. And
Yeah.
and carving out the time. One thing I did do last summer, I really wanted to take all my weekends off. You and I have talked about this too, because I remember being so like impressed that you took Fridays off. Um, my goal is this summer taking weekends off. Last summer I tried and I was okay. I did Sundays, but I still feel like I worked more than I wanted to.
Mm.
So trying to take time off is a big thing.
And it's really hard. It's super challenging as a business owner. And you, again, are the sole provider for your family. And I mean, sometimes you're just in a season of life where you're not able to make that time and to just take time away because when the business is there, the business is there. You got to roll
Yeah,
with it.
and you can't turn like I can't turn good business down. I've gotten to a point where I'm able to say no to things that aren't a good fit, and that's a big win to
Yes.
have that. Like that feels like a luxury, but still, yeah. I mean, I don't control timelines on projects for people, and if they need me, that's my role. I jump in and I try to help when they need me. So,
Yeah, I mean, you just have to as a business owner. But I think that's good that you mentioned that you are not afraid to say no because I think that's something that as entrepreneurs and especially women entrepreneurs that we struggle a lot with is figuring out how to say no or say it in a way that we feel good about. It's just really, really challenging, but I think it's really important that we have that boundary. So I want to ask you one other question before I get to our wrap up questions.
wait, I feel
So
like started,
I know,
Janelle.
I know, I know. I know. That's because you and I, whenever we get together, we're like, we could talk for hours. We really could.
I know.
Which is good. So I'm on this book kick and I have it here. So I'm going to link it in the show notes so everybody can see it and read it. I just have to tell you, there were like so many great moments out of it. I love the story about the whole design that you were in what was it called?
Time for difference.
Design
Design,
for a Difference.
yeah, so close to my heart. Such
Oh
a
my
great
gosh. I tell you what, Holly, um, I like literally read the story about the design project you did for your uncle's
experience.
adult
Yeah.
daycare facility here in the Metro Detroit area. And I mean, that just literally brought tears to my eyes. And I'm just like, oh, this is just incredible. I love that it just kind of came to you and it was just the perfect thing for you to put your heart into, and your talent into, and that you had this really incredible opportunity. And it just made me so happy for you that you had that experience.
Thank you. What happened? I have to tell you, little quick sidebar that because it's not in the book, but about a year later, I went back to that facility and it was such a rundown. It was so gross. The whole building was so gross. But the landlord saw our one room and they invested, I think, up to $100,000 into the rest of the building because of our makeover. Like
What?
added, yeah, they renovated the whole building and they added windows. These rooms they didn't have natural daylight and they added windows. I mean, it was a big deal.
Oh my
So that
gosh.
was so rewarding to just see it snowball and I had no idea that it was happening. So that was really cool.
I love hearing that. That just warms my heart even more. I mean, it's just like the gift that keeps on giving. So yeah, I love that part. There was several things in the book. I do encourage people to just check it out. It's such a good, like, great story of your life, and just everything about how you balanced all of this craziness. It was really good. So, what's on tap? Are you writing another book?
No, but I wish I could. I would love I really need like five more. I maybe I need to be a cat. I need like nine. There's so many things I want to do. I mean, I'll tell like you and I have talked about this. My bigger goal right now is I really want to start a podcast. Like
Yeah.
I need to be in the space. And what's so funny is 6 years ago when I was publishing my book, I had someone say, do you think you'd be interested in starting a podcast? And they were kind of explaining it a little more. And I'm like, no, not at all. And then for the past 3 years, I've known that that's something I need to do, but it's a passion project. The goal is I need a creative outlet for myself. So that would be my purpose. And I'm behind schedule. It'll come. It'll come. But I need to be doing this.
I 100% agree. You have so much insight to share with people, and it would just be so great to have your voice out there and to be heard. And it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, Holly.
I know. I know. I just love this so much. I might just have to start my podcast just so I can talk to you.
Anytime. I love a good conversation with you. But we do have to start to wrap it up. And so I know it's so sad. So let me ask you one thing you wish you would have known starting out as a business owner.
Mm. Um, Action. Just take action and don't get overwhelmed in the information stage of the game. I think because my business is what I've always done as a career choice for so many years, I didn't really have to start from scratch, so there wasn't a hope. But things like for me, like with starting my book and blogging and other things that I've done, I've wasted and I didn't know better, but I spent a lot of time, years probably, watching, learning, following other people that were doing things that I wanted to be doing, where now I look and I'm like, "Oh, well, I could have just been doing." Like I spent a lot, I think don't spend too much time trying to learn. Just every day execute.
Mm.
You'll learn as you go.
I That's a great point. I feel like it's really easy to get stuck and feel like you need to know more before you get started. And I think I either heard or read somewhere you just need like that 10% advantage, just 10% more than the average person what they know. And I mean, that'll blow people's minds. And then you can just kind of keep learning as you go along. What about one thing you're working on now?
I guess it's a podcast. Like my list, if you saw my board of things, I have my client list and then I have goals. I have big goals for every month, 3 months out. There's so many things. So many things. I really need to start my podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. This is like, come on, this is it. You heard it here first. This is where it's going to be born. It's coming out.
It's coming.
So, what about one goal for your future? Do you think those are one and the same?
Think because I feel like once my voice is out there, I know that there are a lot of women that they need my stories and they need my voice. And I don't have a specific plan, but I feel like in 10 years, that's where I'm going to be.
Mm, I can
And
see it.
and I'm going to be still telling people, take the ugly draperies down, you'll feel a lot better.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just ingrained in you. How can you not say that?
Yeah.
Can you share with the listeners where people can find you, where they can connect with you, and where they can buy your book?
course. Okay, so hgmakeovers.com. There's a pop-up for my book right when you land on my website, but you can find The Mother of All Makeovers on Amazon and Audible. You can connect with me on social media at Hollie Gyarmati, pretty much just Facebook, Instagram. And if you do land on my website, there's all kinds of stuff on there to look at, to read. Everything about working with me is there, and you can also message me through my website.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been so great having you and chatting with you. And I'm sure we'll be chatting more after this too.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I love your podcast. I'm like so excited for you.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. And pretty soon it's going to be you too. So you'll be right there with me. That's all we have for today's episode of Organizing the Entrepreneur. But remember, this journey, it doesn't stop here. We've got a ton of awesome content coming your way. Until next time, keep hustling, keep shining, and keep organizing.